Welcome everybody to another great Brutally Honest. Your boy Stitches MVC.
Your boy Brutal Keith.
Y'all, hope you don't get tight, bro. I know, we cool and things like that, but I got another best friend, bro.
Wait, what?
I made another best friend, and it's Spectrum, by the way. Spectrum Wi-Fi. Me and Spectrum Wi-Fi have become best friends. I hope you don't get jealous, bro.
Nah, because I swear I was about to say, are they dressing up are they wearing the vest and the blue shirt? Are they doing the same thing?
Listen, this is what it is. I've had Spectrum Wi-Fi for only 2 months. Yeah, I've talked to Jerry 7 times. That's what I was saying. I know everything about this guy, Jerry. I know where his kid's at. I know how long he's been employed for. Bro, Wi-Fi, Spectrum Wi-Fi will call you for everything. They'll call you when your bill is due. They'll call you when your bill is about to be due. They'll call you when your bill is paid, and they'll call you to see how much your service is, how good they're doing, bro. They called me today to tell me thank you for making the payment. I was like, I made the payment last week. Yeah, I know, but we just wanted to call you. I was like, listen. I'm not interested in no damn survey. Just leave my Wi-Fi the way it is and stop charging me for late fees, you damn crooks. Nah, but welcome right to Brutally Honest. Today we actually going to be talking about a very serious topic. Just wanted to get the icebreaker out the way, making everybody feel a little comfortable and things like that. But, what, I'm even going to take my tie out for this one. Because everybody is going to appreciate this. There is absolutely no joking manner when you've been grown up as a black sheep. That's what we're going to talk about. Being the black sheep and how that affects you. What is a black sheep? The effects of it, and not just complaining about it or talking about it. We're also going to be talking as far as the solution for it, as far as what is a black sheep. Now, me and Keith, we have talking about toxic people and how to deal with these toxic people, how to get away with them, how to limit yourself, how to interact with them, and how not to let these toxic people affect you. One of the key things that we mentioned when we spoke about toxic people, y'all can go look through it, right? We spoke about that, yes, even your family can be toxic. If you can allow yourself to believe that everybody, yes, even your parents, yes, even your kids, even your cousin, doesn't matter who it is, anybody cannot be excluded from being toxic, you will open your eyes and realize who it is that you really need to take care of. Who it is that you really need to limit yourself of. Because the reality is, nobody deserves to get mistreated, neglected, or be dealt in a narcissistic relationship or a situation where you're always being, like we said, being bullied. Agreed. Today we are going to be talking about being the black sheep in the family. How that things affects you, because, listen, I grew up being the black sheep. And there are a couple of things that I'm going to actually incorporate into this video. And I actually would appreciate, the love and even the non-judgment. Before that, if y'all watching this on the live, press 1. Y'all watching this on a replay, press 2. Whether y'all watching this on live or replay, y'all press 3 and y'all getting a shout out. Yes, even it's on a replay, I got you. 3 for a shout out, 1 for live, 2 for the replay. Thank you everybody for watching now.
Facts. So let me ask, Stitch, because you said you grew up being the black sheep in your family. I can honestly say personally that wasn't me, but I definitely have one in my family. I think we all got one in the family. Let me ask, man.
You told me that it would. Okay, no, I'm not gonna even interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, what's the question, I was just gonna say. From your standpoint, how did you take it? Because I know you said you started talking about it last week about when you was telling about the topic how with your family, you had to go out and create another one. But
yeah, we're gonna
before, and that's what I mean. Before we jump into that, how do you feel towards your family, knowing that you are the black sheep, or that's what your family look at you as the outcast in the family?
Well, being the outcast of the family, that's your purpose in life. The reality is, most black sheeps have a different level of success. Being that they've gone through all the verbal abuse or physical abuse, being that they've gone through being criticized so much in their life, there's really nothing that they're going to go through in their adult life that's going to be able to knock them down so easily. So you do become relentless. You do become resourceful. You do become efficient. You do have a stone wall. You grow up with a stone wall that can't nobody faze you because you grew up going through worse things. Now, when we talking about family, I have posted that blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. Y'all tell me as far as what is it that you consider family? Because a lot of the times we go throughout this life and people use that title as far as, oh, they're your brother, they're your parents, your siblings, they're your kids, or they're your cousin. They use this title as far as being your family because they want to get over on you, because they want you to be lenient on them, because all of a sudden they want to pass, they want you to press on go, they want to have a green light for their BS. Yeah. They use this, but we're brothers, but yo, I'm your cousin, dog, like, I got you and everything, and all of a sudden one is enough. Because you over here and you told me, right? You grew up as not feeling like the black sheep. But I guarantee you, Keith, that you grew up feeling, even if it was for your brothers or your sisters or anybody, you grew up like it wasn't ever good enough.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what a black sheep goes through, bro. You always go up to that feeling like it doesn't matter what it is that you do in life, it's never good enough. You over here fighting for the love and attention from your parents. Why? Because your parents is showing favoritism to your other siblings. Why? Because your parents use you not just as the black sheep. There's also a difference between being the black sheep and the scapegoat. As being the scapegoat, you're always the one that you're getting blamed for. Anything happens, you should have known better. Or you was there, or you should have been there. It doesn't matter. You bring home an A to school, where's that A plus at? You feel me? And I'm not saying that I went through all of this, but I'm telling you, I went through most of this throughout my whole life. And the thing about that is, like, when you grow up, like, especially at such an impressionable state, when you're so young that everything affects you, you grow up feeling like you don't even know your own self-worth. You don't even know your own self-value. You start believing this. You start believing what the insecurities that they implanted on you when you grow up. A lot of times we feel like, oh, you was the black sheep. All you have to do is just get away from your family and you're good. Problem solved. No, that's not problem solved, because you still have some insecurities that has been embedded in you throughout all the time that you need to first be aware of, and second, deal with. You need to find your time. You need to create that distance within yourself. Yes, that's great, but you also need to take that time to heal. What am I going to heal if I don't even know I had a problem? You need to be aware of that there is an issue that you do have. You become being criticized so much, you grew up with having this inner critic within you. Like, I'm always telling you, can't nobody criticize me harder than me. Ain't nobody harsher than me than myself. It don't matter what anybody tells me. You can't. And I've said this, right? Yep. So with the research that I've done, with like in the past 2 weeks, I'm doing this and I'm learning so much, and it opened up my eyes, and I'm like, oh my God, this is something that I need to talk to. Yeah. This is something that I need to hear myself. Because we say, like, the best way for you to learn something is by teaching it to others. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So we all learn, and we all in class and session and things like that. So but when I'm hearing this, and I'm like, yo, this is something that I'm going to have to talk to. Any shout outs right there, bro?
No shout outs yet, but I do got a couple of people that said a couple things in relation to the topic.
Press the 3. But anyway, continue, bro.
It's possible. With this, Sherry Blake says she feels that way all the time. Liz Peter said, because my dumb siblings are submissive, and I'm the black sheep, by the way. Now, I was going to jump in, especially when you said sometimes when you get that criticized or that judgment, sometimes you start to believe that. Now, me personally, I didn't grow up as the black sheep per se, as the one being picked on, but I can say I definitely understand and I can relate 100% to that topic. And what I mean by that is my brother, he honestly was probably out of me and my older brother and my younger brother is probably the knucklehead out of the three of us. I'm not going to say he's the black sheep, but he's definitely the knucklehead out of the three of us. And one of the things that I can say, and I remember as a child, is he was sort of the one that always got in trouble. So it was always mentioned that you ain't never gonna do anything. You just bad. You just always do the wrong things. You don't never do the right things, etc., etc., etc. And that's something that I can say I honestly feel like was said often when we was younger. And that's just because, like I said, my younger brother was the knucklehead. He was the one that always getting in trouble for whatever reason may be. And I mean, there might be little stuff here and there. But when you hear that over and over again throughout your life, you're right. You do start to believe it. Now, in his adult life, it's like he's getting on the right path, doing what he needs to do.
But he's still trying to break out of that.
But he's still trying to break out of the... He ain't never gonna be right. He just the black sheep of the family. He's just the one that's always just, oh man, if he would just get it together, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I trust me, I understand. Trust me.
Okay,
like,
so you get
like
it.
Liz Peters, she's like, I feel like the black sheep is the one person who decides it is okay to march at the beat of your own drum. Yes. Okay. Let me add to that. A black sheep is the one that goes against the grain. The black sheep is the one that's unorthodox. Let me put it in more simple terms. The black sheep that is the one that's more different. The black sheep is the one that speaks out. The black sheep is the one that can't tolerate no BS. Matter of fact, the black sheep, because we all know we want to talk about the effects of it and all the bad things, but let me add a positive to it. The black sheep is and will always be the truth teller. Period. They're out here talking about no shout outs and everything.
Yeah. I didn't see the name. My apologies, guys. But Selena get a shout out. Brandy get a shout out. And anybody else, Jessica, if you did hit a 3, I'm sorry I didn't see it. But Jessica will shout you out too. Again, if you're watching this live, press 1. If you're watching it on replay, press 2. And if you want to shout out, press 3.
Listen, bro, I grew up always feeling like I wasn't good enough, bro. I was the kid that would bust my butt in school trying to bring home that A. Why? Because I want that hand clap. Because I want that okay from my parents. Because I want to hear that, wow, good job. No, I didn't get that. What I got was, where's that A+? Oh, 95, you should have gotten a 96. Why? And then you grow up to that, and it's like, when you grow up like that, you feel like you're not enough, bro. And I want to know how many of you guys are the black sheep in your family. How did it feel growing up, and how does it feel now? Because if you was the black sheep then, trust me, you're the black sheep now. Period. You're also like the scapegoat. You're being bullied, and you're the one that's being picked on. But I want to ask you, we already know what the black sheep. The black sheep terminology. If y'all want to know a little history, it's because sheeps, they're commonly and typically all white, but sometimes one turns out to be black, and that black one is their wool is the least expensive one. From all of them. They're the ones that the wolves can spot out from the herd immediately. That's why they're considered less expensive, the black sheep. They're the ones that are considered the ones that out of the bunch, the ones that's beat into their own drum, right? That's where the terminology came from, black sheep. Okay. What's the black sheep? There's black sheeps in relationships like at job, where there's always someone that's gonna get picked on, the target. There's black sheeps like in relationships, like in families. That's what we're talking about now. Growing up, as far as being the black sheep and the scapegoat in your family.
Well, I can definitely relate to being a scapegoat. Being a middle child, a lot of times, and maybe not necessarily all the times, but a lot of times, I did get blamed for stuff that I didn't even do. And the example you gave, like, if you wasn't there, you should have been there. And if you was there, you should have known better. Man, I used to hear that all the time. Again, because my younger brother used to always get in trouble, my mom would blame me. So I used to get picked on or blamed for stuff for being older and not making sure my little brother was good. So,
look, bro, I'm going to tell you right now, bro.
I was the scapegoat.
I'm going to tell you right now, bro. I always had an issue with my weight. Not always, but after I had my kid, I always had an issue getting slimmed down. And wow, Mike, saying you need to start losing weight and everything. And I'm always getting that from the family. Or you need to start losing weight. You need to start losing weight. Or look how you look and all this and blah, 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 blah. And then you lose the weight and nobody says anything. Oh, so it's okay. But that's what I'm talking about as far as being the black sheep. You're always going to be the one criticized. You're always going to be the one ridiculed, but you will never be the one that they're going to big up. They will never, ever admit the potential that you do have. But you didn't need to understand this. Before you was the black sheep, before you even came into that family, those issues was already there. And a lot of times, a lot of people with these issues, they feel like having a kid is going to resolve their issues or whatever issues they are. You know, I'm talking in general right now. A lot of people, they have these kids to resolve these issues, or they expect something in this kid that they had this miracle child, let's call it, and now the child, she doesn't grow up to the standards, or actually has a mouth, or actually has a brain to think for themselves. You know, doesn't go like, I told you to do this, but now you're becoming rebellious, because the black sheep is known to be rebellious. Rebellious is not always a bad thing. You know, I grew up as far as being rebellious and or known as being like a troublemaker and things like that. And I start to think, bro, it was that really me? Is that who I really am? Or was that just a little kid, a little child seeking attention? That's a great question to ask. Are you who you act you was, or was you just looking for attention? Like, I got tattoos, I got earrings, like, I grew up like in the hood, you feel me? And one of the things that turned me into the black sheep was what I wasn't able to understand the way my family really thought. They thought a certain way. I grew up more differently, you know. So I was into the do-rags, I was into the hip-hop and just like that. And now all of a sudden that turned me as far as like an outcast. Now you're known as the outcast. Now you're known as the rebel in the family. And I'm like, was I really a rebel? Or was I just a kid trying to look for an okay from dad? Trying to look for a hug from mom? Trying to feel like I'm the same as my brothers and sisters. Now, you over here, they create, like when you show favoritism with your kids, you create a competition between siblings. Yeah. You know, it's a competition. Like now they're fighting for your love and attention and affection. And I'm not going to raise my kids like that, man.
And I completely agree with that. I mean, I just want to quickly shout out Jessica Guzman. She hit 3. Jaylene Rosado, she hit 3. I also see Bia Perez. She hit 3. She says she watch every Tuesday. We definitely love to support all you girls. And I also just want to state, Selena had posted something, and I agree with this. And it actually goes with what you're mentioning right now. She said that, it's heartbreaking because I do everything for my family. And because of being real and living a different type of lifestyle, and the rest, I'm called a snob, the outcast, rebel, etc. She was like, but when shit gets thick, they call me. And I was going to ask you, being that you are the black sheep and you have gone through that, is that similar to what you've gotten?
Yes, because I say, bro, the black sheep is known to be the one that's resilient. The black sheep is the one that's known to be the outspoken one. The black sheep is known to speak towards injustice. Like I said, the black sheep is the truth teller. Like, we have a skin so thick because of what we've endured and growing up, that very little things can phase us. So yes, we are the perfect ones. You know, usually, if you're the black sheep of the family, I can almost bet like you're probably the creative one. The black sheep is usually the one with the most potential, which is why the rest of the family feel threatened, not because of you, but because of their shortcomings.
Interesting. Let me ask you this, Stitch, because you brought it up. Being that this was your situation, did you feel like you were just looking for attention, or were you really just acting out? And I mean, we all, I want to say, when we get to that teenage stage, I think we all go through like a rebel or rebellious stage or phase or whatever the case may be. I think we all do, whether you're the black sheep or not. But what I'm asking you is, do you think for you, this is your personal life, were you looking for attention at a younger age, before you got to being a teenager, at a younger age? Were you looking for that attention, or was it just natural for you to be that outcast, to be that person that just didn't want to do what everybody else was doing, or like you said,
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. I'm only gonna say that because it is natural, because I do believe in divinity. I do believe that everybody has a purpose. And if you are a black sheep, your purpose is to endure and inspire others to do better, because you are creative and you are able to express yourself differently through different art forms, for example, poetry or even music. So I feel like it's natural. Now as an adult, you're asking me what did I think? Maybe at that time, I felt like I was just looking for attention. So yes, it's that too. But I think it's deeper than that as well, bro. Not just attention, but I feel like something bigger than that, or maybe more important, acceptance. Being accepted for who you are, being accepted for being different. Is what I'm saying, just being accepted, and you grow up and like I said, a lot of these people, they have kids, and it's sad to say, I remember being in high school, like thinking like, damn, I wish I had a kid, like just so I could have someone to love and love me back, and like it's kind of sad being a kid wanting a kid, but it's true story, and a lot of people go through this in their life, I want to have something to hold, but the thing is, a lot of people, they act different, like they have the child. The child doesn't fulfill the need because happiness comes within. You need to heal yourself. We always say that, and a lot of the parents, they'll take it out on the child like it's the child's fault or issue when they had nothing to do. I'm not saying we all do that. Just, some cases that happens.
Now, I was just gonna ask, and I mean, you bringing up kids and being a child and stuff like that. And let me just get your thoughts on it. Now, today, growing up now as a kid is obviously different than when we grew up in our times. Do you think a lot of these kids might be going through rebellious phases, or they might be considered the black sheep in their family because they're acting out, so to speak? They're being labeled as having ADHD, and being put on medicine to be controlled. And I mean, I know that's a sensitive topic, and I'm not really getting into that factor, but just speaking on what we're talking about right now, some of the things that you said, like that really points out who the black sheep was from an early onset, really does correlate with a lot of the actions or that we claim are associated with having attention deficit or hyper, disorder. So do you think that kids might, at this point, they could just be going through a phase, or maybe they are the black sheep in their family, but instead of them being treated for something like that or being spoken to or accepted for who they are, do you think that now it's just easier to label them as having this, put them on some medicine and hope they turn out okay?
Of course it is. Let's just put a label on it, close it, and ship it, and that's it, and it's done and over with. That I'd rather deal with it like that than actually deal with the situation at hand. A lot of people in families, they know who the black sheep are, but they will never admit it. A lot of times they call the black sheep, oh, he or she's just being rebellious. Oh, they just got ADHD. Oh, they're just acting up to the people on the outside. But the people on the outside don't really know exactly what's going on the inside. So now, like we said, now you're labeled as that type. You grow up with that label. You grow up feeling like this is who you really are. This is we're going to talk about the effects as far as what it goes. Like one of the things is you struggle with knowing what your self-worth. You start feeling like you aren't good enough. And I'm not just talking about your family. I'm talking about the effects when you, as an adult. You become an adult and you become into a relationship. You feel like you're just not good enough. Another thing, you notice quickly. You have a sixth sense of noticing approval or disapproval with the people you come across. All of a sudden, damn, did I click or didn't I click? Like you are aware immediately of these things.
And not for nothing, I mean, literally, as you saying it, Haiti Walker just posted it. I'm just now learning to be independent from my family because it got to the point where I believe none of my own ideas or thoughts were even good enough.
Exactly, and that's completely wrong, and that's why you grow up feeling like you don't even know your own self-worth, you don't even know your own self-value. You grow up feeling looking for validation from other people. You grow up feeling like you need the approval from other people to know that you're good enough. But once you break out of that cycle, before you could break out of that cycle, you must know that there is an issue that you need to deal with, including myself, man. I'm talking in general where everybody can get it, Once you start realizing this, then you can move forward. A lot of people that are black sheeps, maybe you're too young to just disconnect yourself from the family or emancipate yourself. I understand that. Maybe sometimes you're in a situation where you don't even want to cut your family off completely because it's not all your family members that do this. So you don't want to cut them all off because of, one bad apple in the bunch or anything like that. So that's one of the solutions. It's like you create a distance and you limit yourself. You limit your time. We spoke about this as far as dealing with toxic people,
Yep.
you know? Like you limit yourself because you grew up feeling inadequate. You grew up feeling like you're not even lovable. You grew up looking like what we said, that affection, that attention, and that acceptance from other people. And then it's crazy because how many of us, we feel more connected to the people we have friends on our social media. You know, a lot of us, we didn't have a family at the house. We went into the streets and created one or got into one. I'm talking about gangs and just dealing with the wrong people, with the wrong crowd. You know, I'm talking about, you meet a student, now you just want to have a kid because you want something to love and you want something to love you back. Like, this is some of the effects that people go through.
Yeah, and definitely looking for that approval. I mean, like some of these kids, like you said, are out there going the streets looking for it, hoping to find a family that they can call their own. Some people are staying in the house and going online and being more in touch or more involved in the lives of people that they've never physically ever met, but know all about through social media than they do their own actual family members. And that's actually interesting to me as well. And just because a lot of us go through that at some point in our lives. Maybe it's not something we constantly have to deal with. You know, being the black sheep, that's something that you said you constantly had to deal with. But even I personally had to do that as well at some point or another. Whether I'm looking for friends or people that I can hang out with, or just when things weren't going as expected, once I moved out of the house, and looking for another family to sort of help support. Right now I'm here in Florida on my own. Most of my family is back in Connecticut. So I have certain people that I deal with here in this state that are close, that I consider my family here in Florida, but we're not blood related at all.
But you consider them more family. Back to the point, like we were saying, right?
Yeah. There's some of my family from up north.
So what do you consider family? You would consider loyalty?
I personally, just on my standpoint on it, I personally say family is blood first. And what I mean by that is we don't choose our family. You know what I mean? We blood related. I'm not saying that makes us closer or thicker than somebody else.
I'm glad you said
but
that,
for
bro.
me personally, I do think that blood relation is a part of it, because come hella high water, if you the black sheep in my family or not, I'm still gonna be there for you. I'm still gonna be the one to reach out. I'm still gonna be the one to make sure you straight and you good, even if nobody else do. Maybe I don't hit you up as often as I should, but I'm definitely gonna make sure you're good. Being that you might not always get the attention, and right now
So
I know what that feel like.
I understand. But for you, like you said, you didn't grow up as a black sheep. So for you, family, what you consider family, is always gonna be blood first. Hey, I can't disagree with you. That's your point of view. That's your perspective, and I respect that. I completely disagree with that completely, bro. Because the reality is, for me personally, you grow up feeling like, you know what? You come to a point in your life where enough is enough. Mm-hmm. Period. I don't care if you're my brother. I don't care if you're my sister. I don't care if you're my dad, my mom's, my cousin. I don't care who you are or how you're related to me. If you don't act like my brother, I'm not going to see you or treat you like my brother, period. And I'm putting that title as far as everything. Listen, I don't care because you're my brother. I don't care because if you're my sister. If you feel it's okay because you have this title and then you think it's okay for you to treat me a certain way, then I'm sorry, Ma. I'm sorry, Pa. But the reality is, I'm going to treat my friends, the one that gave me the loyalty, the one that gave me the respect, the one that gave me the treatment I deserved and earned. I'm going to treat them more like fam than before I treat anybody else just because we share blood. And I know it's harsh, bro. I know it's harsh. But how much time are we going to go through our life feeling like this? How much more days are you going to go through? Damn, but we're family, but we're family, but we're family. And you're just living your life miserable because you're family. Listen, there is a power when you don't care anymore. Period. Let's talk about the solutions. We talk about what it was. We talk about the effects. Let's finish this off with the solution. There is a power when you don't care anymore, bro. I just don't care anymore. I'm done. I've had it anymore. I don't give a F. I'm done. I just don't care. Who cares if it's Thanksgiving? Who cares if it's the holidays? Who cares if it's the birthday? You know how much situations you go through and you be like, oh damn, but it is Thanksgiving, and the whole family's gonna be there, and you start going through this battle within yourself, and you be like, yeah, but you know what? It is family. I should just pop up anyway. And then you go and pop up to these family events, and then you end up feeling like feeling worse than what you did if you would have just stayed home. How many of these situations are you going to go through when you're just going to be like, you know what, enough is enough? How many times are you going to go through saying, I should have stayed home, for you to just actually do what you keep on saying? How many times, when is it going to hit you that you're more important than what other people make you feel? When is it going to hit you that you shouldn't be showing importance to who you're not important to? When is it going to hit you that you're special, that you're unique, that you're somebody, and that you have a value, and can nobody put that worth on you? When are you going to realize ain't nobody going to put a price tag on you? You create that own price tag.
Now, I love that you said all of that.
Enough is enough, bro.
I agree.
I'm done. I'm tired.
I agree. But let me ask you this, and this is going along with it. Being that they're your blood, and I'm going with that.
Okay.
That they're your blood. And I get that we can create our own families with people, friends, etc. I get that. But being that they're your blood, when you do feel like enough is enough, and you've come to that realization that you're not going to take it anymore, being the black sheep or being the outcast, how do you re-engage or re-interact with your family now? Because at the end of the day, everything you said started with, when are you going to realize? Not when are they going to realize it, but when are you? So my thing is, once you realize it, when is the communication going to happen between you and the family to where you can get back to being family?
Okay.
And not just pushing them away because of how they treated you in the past. I mean, we grow, right?
Yeah, but they don't. And if you was the black sheep then, you're the black sheep now. And it's not your responsibility to change anybody's way of thinking or change anybody's perspective on their life outlook on how they view you or think that has happened in the past. I understand as far as now holding grudges and now letting that venom, affect you, who you really are. I understand that. But you still have the choice of being there or not. Now, if it's important to you, being blood, if it's important to you, then keep that communication. Stay connected. But if it affects your livelihood, if it affects your happiness, then you need to limit yourself on that. Definitely. Period. Whether you're related or not. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It's what's happening now. And if today you're still feeling a certain way, then you need more time to heal yourself before we can even take that step as far as trying to become a family again. The reality is it's probably already too late for that already. Some of the solutions is also, like I said, if you're the black sheep, you're probably the most creative. You're probably also an empath too, because you're extremely sensitive. Empaths, I admit, you're extremely sensitive to people's emotions and energy. You feel things and all of a sudden you're like, is that me or is that them? You grow up to that. As the black sheep, you're also more connected spiritually, which is why you don't think the way a lot of people think. A lot of people see things how they see it, but you see it more like you connect to things on a spiritual level that most people don't understand. And like I said, the black sheep is the one that's usually misunderstood.
Okay.
Learned
something new today myself.
The black sheeps are the ones to rise and succeed in life. I hope y'all love this show as far as talking about the black sheep. Press 1 if y'all watching live, 2 replay, 3.
You want a shout out?
3 on a shout out. What you want to talk about next week, bro?
Next week I actually have a question for the ladies, and I'm going to post it later on today just to get some comments to talk about next week. But ladies, I just want to ask. I mean, it came up and I was curious. Do y'all prefer being proposed to in public or private? And I mean, I'm going to give some examples of that, but ultimately, do you prefer being proposed to in public, like where everybody can see what's going on, they showing a public display of affection, etc., or do you think it's something that should be done more private, more, just the two of you, since it's something special between the two of you?
Definitely.
So I'm going to post that just to get some response, and we're going to talk about it next week.
Exactly.
How about you?
Like how Keith said, ladies, how do y'all feel about being proposed to? Do y'all prefer to be in public or private? Right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Before I give them my topic for next week, I'm loving all the comments. I mean, I'm talking about all of them. Selena, Sherry, Chris, Jessica, wow, a lot. Jaylene, Haiti, Brandy, everybody. Now, check it. They say that love is blind. But are you also blind to the signs? I'll see y'all next week. It's your boy Stitches NBC.
Your boy Brutal Keith.
Thank y'all all for tuning in. And I love y'all truly all. Thank y'all all for the support from the bottom of our hearts. This is the best show in Orlando. I'm stamping on it and I am a man of my word. Bajo tu maldita palabra, coño.